Well, hi ho, it's off to work we go. Today on Brickscale Studio. Welcome back to Brickscale Studio. My name is Jeff. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today on the channel, we're going to take a look at Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So tomorrow, March 21st, the live-action version of Snow White comes out. Or as I heard these remakes referred to, photorealistic. Because like Little Mermaid with all of the sea creatures, unfortunately the dwarves are CGI. So, yeah, honestly, I've seen quite a bit of pushback online for this movie. People don't seem to really be into it for various reasons. One, they criticize Snow White's like Farquaad hairdo. Also the CGI aspect of the dwarfs. So I don't know if the movie's going to do all that well or not. We shall see. But this Lego Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs set is pretty awesome. So let's get into the build, and then we'll talk about it after. Here is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It is set number 43242, and it comes in at 2,228 pieces. So here's the front of the box. And then if we look over here, these are the minifigs that we get. Obviously, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Plus, I believe we get the prince as well. And then here is the back of the box. So I do believe this sort of hinges. It does sort of have like an open back, but somewhat closes. So we'll have to check that out. So let's open the box and see what we've got. So it looks like there might be 14 bags total. So let me get this all organized and we'll be right back. Yes, there were 14 numbered bags. So here's the manual, rather thick. And if we take a look inside, again, we have information about the Builder app. You can get the electronic version of the instructions. Here we have some information about the original film. From 1937, I believe. The animated film, the Lego designer, some more information here. And then we just get right into bag number one. And so, yes, we have our minifigures. So we have the prince. And he does have an alternate face. So if we turn that around, and then we have Snow White, and so this is sort of a smiling face, and then she does have an alternate face, which is kind of a sleeping face, but it's hard to see with this little collar here. So I'll show you that at the end when we get to the little glass coffin section. And then we get right into bag number one. It's a very small piece count for bag number one. I think we're building the wishing well. We also do get some stickers. It looks like these are for the Seven Dwarves beds. It has their names on them. And then we get two 16 by 16 plates for the cottage. So let's get into bag number one. Okay, that is the end of bag number one. So we have the wishing well. where she wishes for the prince to come. So then it looks like we're starting on bag number 2, and that will be our first start on the cottage. Okay, that is it for bag number 2. So it looks like we've got a good start on the base here. It looks like we got 2 different squirrel molds. We got this like sort of brownish one and a gray one. We've got a little rabbit. And then of course we have our light brick here. That's going to light up that fireplace. All right, so on to bag number 3. Okay, in bag number 3 we get the first of our 7 dwarfs. We get Doc, and he has this kind of happy face and then a kind of a concerned face. So I'm going to leave him on the happy face for right now. And then we got his hat. All right, so on to bag number 3. Okay, that is it for number 3. And so we've got, looks like we have the main entrance with this lovely little shaded entry here. And then we finished up on the fireplace. And if we take a look, well, my little cauldron in here is kind of, if we take a look inside the fireplace, very cool there. Okay, so we are on to bag number 4. Okay, so before we start bag number 4, we have another dwarf. This is Grumpy. So he also has a dual face. So I guess he has Grumpy face and then Grumpy face in bold. Like it's basically the same face. It's just the lines are thicker. So maybe Grumpy and more Grumpy, I guess. And then here he is with his little hat. And he also gets a cup. All right, so there is Grumpy. That's it for bag number 4. So we've got the front door to the cottage that is entirely brick built. A little bulky on the inside, And then, of course, we finish the table and chairs. So on to bag number 5. All right, that is the end of bag number 5. So it looks like we have the start of another base here that's probably going to go on here somehow. I guess we will find out. So on to bag number 6. All right, before we start bag number 6, we got another dwarf. This is Happy. So he does again have an alternate face, although Happy, also Happy. Some of these dual faces are not that different. So there we got his hat, and then he gets a pickaxe here. All right, so that is Happy. All right, that's the end of bag number 6. So we've continued bulking up the interior here. I think this sink is pretty cool. They use like a window with a translucent blue piece sort of upside down. So that was pretty cool. This little piano is pretty neat, except for applying stickers to a curved element. That was a little tricky. So they're not exactly in the best alignment. But anyway, on to bag number 7. Before we get too deep into bag number 7, we get another dwarf. This is Bashful. So this one he's got, on his alternate face, this one his mouth is open, and on this one it is closed. So we'll leave it on the mouth open. And then he's got his little hat here, and then he also gets a pickaxe. All right, so there is Bashful. So far we have 4 of the 7 dwarfs. So on to bag number 7. All right, that is the end of bag number 7. So it looks like we've completed the interior of this section of the cottage. And I'm now guessing that this is going to go kind of like this. It's not asking us to do this yet, but it's going to go like this, and then this is going to swing out like so. But like I said, it's not asking us to do this yet, so I will leave them separated. Okay, so on to bag number 8. Okay, before we get far into bag number 8, we have another dwarf. This is Sleepy. So he's got kind of a drowsy face and then a yawny face here. And then he also gets a little pickaxe. So that is Sleepy. Okay, that is the end of bag number 8, and we have joined the two pieces together. We got all the beds made, which surprisingly didn't feel all that repetitious, even though, you know, obviously there is some repetition, but the way they split it up, it wasn't too bad. And then, of course, we finished up over here. We installed these beams, and then we finished up this front area. So on to bag number 9. Okay, with bag number 9, we get Sneezy. So I guess here he is in mid-sneeze, and then about to sneeze. And he gets a sort of a yellowish hat and a pickaxe. So there is Sneezy. Alright, that is the end of bag number 9. So we've got some of the roof infrastructure. We completed this whole side here. And it looks like we are going to be starting on the roof. And it looks like it might be a little crazy. They've included... let me move this out of the way really quick. Yeah, they're asking us for bag number 10. If you just dump out all the parts, you're going to be very grumpy, but if you sort them, you're going to be very happy. So it looks like we're going to be doing a little pre-sorting with bag number 10. Let's get on with that. I will do the pre-sorting, and then we'll come back when it's all sorted. Okay, we are back, and we have our parts sorted. And actually, it wasn't as bad as they make it out to be. They do help you out. In the big bag of parts, there are 2 little bags. And all of sort of the right-facing slopes are in one of the little bags. And all of the left-facing slopes are in the other little bag. So if you open those 2 bags and keep them separate, it's really easy to just pick out your parts. This one was mixed in with this bag, but these were easy to pick out. I don't know why we're so concerned with these. These are pretty easy to distinguish. Maybe because we have some that are 3. I'm not sure. But anyway, so we have these all separated. So let's get into bag number 10. All right, that was the end of bag 10. So that was not bad at all, especially doing the pre-sort. Yeah, that was not bad at all, and it looks really good. So on to bag 11. All right, so before we get into bag 11, here we have our last dwarf, I believe, is Dopey. So he has this little smiley face, and then on the other one, he's got a little happy face with a little lipstick mark. And then we will put his, and he's got a little hat with ears on it. So we're going to put him aside, and he's going to get a shovel. But before we get into bag 11, they want us to do the sorting thing again. So I wanted to show you in bag 10 how they keep these left and rights separate. So one of them is in this bag, and one of them is in this bag. So as long as you keep these two little bags separate, then all of the ones in this bag are the same direction, so you can just pull them out. So I'll just continue to do this, and then we will be back when I'm done sorting. All right, so we are back, and I've got them sorted just like I did last time. And then also, Dopey gets a shovel. All right, so there is Dopey. Okay, that is it for bag number 11. So we have another roof panel here with this little birdhouse, and then we finish the peak here. So for bag 12, obviously we're going to be finishing this last roof panel, and we have our last bit of sorting. So let's get into that. Okay, that is it for bag number 12. So interesting on this one, all the other roof panels clipped in. We had sort of brackets on the underside that matched up with some pieces on the building itself, and they actually snapped and clicked in. This one, it just is held on by gravity. It just sits in. Let's see if I can show that to you. So this little ridge right here, it just sits in just like that. All right, so that is the cottage, looking pretty sharp with all the roof panels on. So now we are on to bag number 13. Okay, so in bag 13, we get the evil stepmother, the old crone, the witch, whatever you want to call her. So here she has kind of sinister face, and then here she has kind of angry face. And she's got her little basket with her poison apple. So that is the old crone. Okay, that is it for bag number 13. So we just are adding some details. We added this little jewel station, and then of course some trees. All right, so on to bag number 14. All right, that is the end of bag number 14, and we have the glass coffin. So let's flip the camera around and take a closer look. Here's the finished Snow White's cottage. I guess it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So we have the main cottage, and then we have these two little mini builds. We have the wishing well, and then we have the glass coffin. And this came with 10 minifigures. We get, of course, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We also get Prince Charming, and then we get the old crone, or the witch, the queen, the evil queen. So the build was kind of cool. So the first thing you do is build the wishing well, which is sort of toward the beginning of the story. And then you build the cottage. And then last thing you build is the coffin. So it kind of follows the progression of the story. So it's very cool. I do like all the little details here with the flowers. It's very cute. Snow White will actually fit in the coffin. You can lay her down in there. I opted just to leave her out there so you could see it a little bit better. I think the minifigures are great. I kind of go over them in the build, so I'm not going to go over them again. But they all do have, except for the Wicked Witch, they all do have alternate faces. On some of the dwarfs, the alternate face is questionable. It's basically the same as the other face, just like in the case of Grumpy, it's the same exact face, it's just the lines are thicker on the alternate face. I think the build looks really great. I think the roof, which had the potential of being very tedious, building these panels with the same basic technique. You're just using these like little slope pieces. I did find it actually not very tedious. It was predictable for sure, like you knew what you were doing next without really even looking at the instructions, but I didn't find it all that tedious. And that whole pre-sorting thing that they give you in the manual, that helped a great deal. So here is the front of the cottage. I think this looks great. I think the trees and the foliage all look nice. We get two different squirrel prints and our squirrel figures, and then we get a little bunny there. Very cool. All of these little owl pieces are printed. The shutters were printed. There were some stickers in this set, that is for sure, and we'll look at those. But all the pieces here on the exterior were all printed pieces. So that's very nice. So let me move this out of the way and we'll give this a little bit of a turn. So this is the side here with the fireplace chimney. This is the light brick, which will light up the fireplace when we take a look inside. So here is the back. It is an open back. Now it does hinge, however, it does not close. So it's kind of bizarre the way that works, but I'll show you that here in a second. So we have this table set for 7, obviously. And then here we have a little living room. This little piano build was kind of cool. Those are sticker pieces. I will say that putting the stickers, and I do talk about this in the build video, putting the stickers on those rounded pieces, that was kind of a challenge. And then here we have the other side, which has this nice tree, and then we have sort of a little jewel sorting station here. So if we turn this back, here you can see the fireplace, And if we hit that light brick, it will light that up like so. So that's very nice. So onto the hinging part of it. So there are hinges here. So it does clip in on the other side. So let me put this back in. All right, so this does hinge, but it only hinges like that. So it doesn't close, but from the front, it gives you a little more access here. Is that entirely useful? I'm not really sure. All right, so again, I think they could have done the hinging part a little bit better to either close it off in the back. I'm not sure what this really gets us. I mean, yes, you get access here and you get access here, but really? So if we close this back up, the other one that comes off is this roof piece will come off, and it's just held on by gravity. This piece here sits on these pieces here. So this gives you some access to the bedroom area for the dwarves. The other thing that I found quite odd was you put stickers on each of the footboards of the bed, but you can't see any of them because they're all facing in and they're so close together that you can't really even see them. So what was the point? I don't think we really needed that. But all in all, this was a fun build though. Like I said, had the potential of being super repetitive, but didn't turn out that way. And overall, I think it looks really good. Aside from, like, if you just leave it like this, I think it looks great. The hinging part doesn't really work out for me. Like, I don't get what you gain there. I would have rather it hinged so that it made it a closed back, which I'm sure there are modifications out there you can look. I'm sure people have on Rebrickable and stuff, they've made modifications to make it a closed back and all that. But that is the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs set. That was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs Lego set. So overall, I think a great build. I do like all the minifigures. Again, like I mentioned, the hinged part of it could have been done a little bit better. But other than that, a great build. So let me know down in the comments like what you think of this build, and looking at this video in the future and you've seen the movie, what did you think of the movie? I'd be very curious to know. But be sure to like, subscribe, share. It really helps get the videos noticed. And again, comment down below. What did you think of the build? What did you think of the movie? On the subscriber front, we are trying to hit those subscriber milestones. So we've already hit the first one, which was the 250 subscriber, and we gave away a retro record player set to one lucky viewer. So be sure to, pass on the video, help get the subscriber counts up, and you could win the next giveaway, which will be at 500 subscribers. So stay tuned. I will definitely announce when we hit 500. But until then, remember, happy building, take care, be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon.